Jalen Brunson finally had his moment, and instead of ignoring the criticism that's followed him for years, it sounds like he used the championship celebration to remind everybody exactly what was said about him. After all the questions about whether he was big enough, talented enough, or capable of being the top option on a title team, Brunson is now standing there with the championship to his name. And that's why some of those old takes are suddenly getting a lot of attention again. One of the names being brought up is Becky Hammon, whose past comments about Brunson's championship ceiling have resurfaced now that the outcome says otherwise. The same goes for analysts and personalities who spent years wondering why the Knicks were building around him in the first place. Now a lot of those same voices are talking about Brunson like they always believed he could lead a team to the top. What's interesting is that Brunson's response wasn't some loud back and forth or social media rant. Instead, it came while celebrating the biggest accomplishment of his career in front of a massive audience. And sometimes that's the strongest answer a player can give. No lengthy explanation, no arguing, no defending himself, just the reality that the championship has already been won. The banner is there, the title is official, and the debate looks a lot different than it did a few years ago. So, after hearing Brunson address the doubters during the parade, it's worth going back and looking at some of the comments that fueled this conversation in the first place.
How stuck do you think the Knicks are here in the Eastern Conference?
Well, I certainly agree with you. They're not getting into that tier. They don't have enough personnel. They don't have the manpower that they need to hang with those guys. I think you're going to get a consistent team like they've been. They're a pretty good team. They're well coached. They're going to be on their defensive game. But at the end of the day, they don't have a dude. You got to have a dude. You got to have a 1A dude. And they're missing that at the end of the day if we're just getting down to brass taxes. Sorry.
I didn't want to disagree with Becky today, but they do have that dude.
Who?
Jalen Brunson.
No, he's too small.
But here's the thing, and that's
Didn't they say about you?
But you know
they
what?
Say that about you. You're a Hall of Famer.
I got a philosophy. Can I say my philosophy?
Go ahead.
If your best player is small, you're not winning.
Trading their first round pick away. And for what? To go all in on clearing cap space in hopes of signing Jalen Brunson?
There's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions. But when you prove them wrong, you really don't have to say shit to them. Nah, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
What I actually like about Jalen Brunson's approach is that he didn't spend a bunch of time going back and forth with Becky Hammon. He didn't need to. From his perspective, the result already speaks for itself. The championship happened, the goal was accomplished, and there's really not much left to argue about after that. That's the kind of response that hits harder than any social media post ever could. Instead of trying to prove people wrong with words, Brunson let the outcome do it for him. Now, every time those old takes resurface, the conversation takes on a completely different meaning. And whether he says another word about it or not, people are going to keep bringing those comments back up on their own. That's why moments like this tend to stick around for a long time. Once a strong opinion gets attached to a player, especially a prediction about what they can or can't achieve, it becomes part of the record. If that prediction ends up being wrong, fans are going to remember it. The internet has a way of keeping those clips alive long after they were first said. For Brunson, though, there doesn't seem to be much reason to keep revisiting it. He reached the mountaintop. The accomplishment is already there for everyone to see. Meanwhile, the people who publicly questioned whether he could ever get to this point now have to live with those comments being replayed whenever his success comes up. That's why making definitive statements about what a player will never do can be risky. The moment that player proves otherwise, the prediction becomes part of the story too. And in Brunson's case, that's exactly what has happened.